fuck said that bar, but it was Murphy fucking Lee. Yes sir, we back at it. Back at it again. You can tell by the way I walk in from around her, I probably can't tell. So just keep spamming that trash ass ball. Trash ass ball. Not a damn thing. I'm living life, woman, and leave me the fuck alone. I'm on the game doing my Doug Dizzle. Don't you see the bird on my arm? I got a hawk as a pet, goddammit. It's bullshit. Get the light on my face.
Welcome to Rediscovering Egypt.
First of all, watch the fucking horses for one. Got life messed up. What's up, homie? Oh, what y'all doing over there? How are they making?
In the 19th century, the increased intensity of tourism and excavations, as well as the outflow of antiquities to other countries, threatened Egypt's archaeological heritage. Egyptians took part in this destruction by ransacking sites for artifacts to sell, quarrying stones from ancient monuments, and removing sebak, ancient mud bricks, to reuse for their own purposes.
Oh, there you go, that nigga gave me right there. But if you go...
A major step in conserving Egypt's heritage was taken in 1858, when the Viceroy of Egypt created the Antiquities Service. Supported by a team of foreign scholars, Auguste Madiette exerted an iron grip on the service. He carried out his work across Egypt and into Nubia, intervening on almost every major site. Aware of the necessity of keeping unearthed artifacts in Egypt, Madiette requested a museum be created for that purpose in 1858. This museum was the ancestor of the Egyptian Museum.
The clips. I was like, put it on your... I was like, put it on your idea here, there. You was like, for what? I'm telling you. I found out about it recently, so that's why I was telling you. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know you had to do that. Okay. I was like, okay, I didn't know you had to do that. Okay. I didn't know neither. I learned the other day. I was like, oh, what? And then when I did it myself, I'm like, oh. Well, I didn't realize that I didn't realize I had my fucking MySpace still up there, though. That is ridiculous. That is wild. Bruh, yeah, Rishi told me, nigga. Rishi said, yo, go change your about me, nigga. You still got your MySpace here. I said, what? He said, you still got your MySpace. I wasn't gonna goddamn miss tight. That was dead ass. I had my goddamn MySpace there for no goddamn reason. Bruh, I made that YouTube channel when MySpace was popular, so.
Gaston Maspero, Mariette's successor, expanded and reorganized the Antiquities Service and instigated laws regulating the export of artifacts. French scholars ran the service until it passed into Egyptian hands in the 1950s.
I hate when that shit is irritating.
As of the mid-19th century, Egyptology was fast becoming a recognized discipline within both private institutions and learned societies.
Oh, you making a gift? Right. Why is this my view? Oh, there you go. I couldn't figure it out.
A French architect, archaeologist, and former researcher, Jean-Claude Golvin, now specializes in the artistic reconstruction of ancient cities and monuments. To date, he has created more than 800 drawings, which include 3 volumes focusing on the reconstitution of ancient Egypt. His work is exquisitely detailed and can be found in books and museums around the world. The team was thrilled to collaborate with Jean-Claude Golvin in order to recreate Egypt for the game.
That's a good move right there.
In the 19 exclusive watercolors he created for the team, Golvin used scientific data as the base and then extrapolated to provide a full interpretation of various locations and monuments in ancient Egypt. Both early sketches and fully rendered images were then used by the team as references while building the world of Assassin's Creed Origins.
Hey, take heed to what he's saying. I was kind of in your position 15 years ago, and I allowed niggas to take the lead because of my generosity, and I didn't take the selfish route, and it didn't end well because they wasn't ready. So take heed to what he's saying, bro. You ready? Do what you need for you, bro, and everything else will fall in place when it's time for it to fall in place. Sometimes inspiration has to be visual. Sometimes the inspiration has to be, visual. Maybe like, oh shit, Rishi up there. Okay, hold on. Let me get my shit together. I ain't trying to get left behind. Oh shit. Damn, I gotta walk on the fucking. I was about to say something crazy. Never mind.
Although ancient Egypt's rich religious culture and its mortuary monuments continue to be investigated, the modern discipline of Egyptology has shifted focus. Rather than single-mindedly retrieving impressive artifacts, Egyptologists today focus instead on increasing the body of knowledge. In the past, excavations took place in the field. And while that is still the case today, much of the work on Egyptology now takes place in libraries and archives.
The situation, it depends on that. What? I see Snooze, I'm firing on him. That's word to my kids. I see Snooze or Jimmy in the streets, I'm firing on him. There's
Today,
no question.
archaeology
what's
in
good,
Egypt
TV.
relies
I'm
on an
fine.
interdisciplinary approach, where traditional Egyptologists are helped by a wide spectrum of scientists from other disciplines and new, non-invasive techniques.
Of any outcome. I already decided
GPS data,
when
satellite imaging, and ground-penetrating radar allow archaeologists to gain a sense of what lies underneath the ground before excavating.
I don't listen. When it comes to house pets, I expect house pets to act out of order. But all of them wasn't house pets. Some people were the pet owner. You don't treat the pet owner the same way you treat the pets.
Welcome to natron.
That's not true, because babies can't truly think for
Natron
themselves.
is a colorless salt that was used by ancient Egyptians for food preservation, cleansing products, and glass making. It was also used in the mummification process.
Yo, Hemi, why you snitching? Why you snitching on me? Why you snitching on my punch? Cause that was the punch in the punch. Why you snitching on my punch? Cause these niggas got the fucking mental capacity of fucking 8-month-olds. That's what I'm compared to babies.
During the ceremonial embalmment ritual, the priests packed the body in natron in order to remove all of the moisture. Once the body was thoroughly desiccated, they could begin the wrapping.
Nigga said all 8-month-olds are not equal.
Natron was mined in Wadi Natron. The main mining methods involved either cutting slices out of the lake bed when it was dry, or raking through mineral-saturated water to gather the mineral salts during the floods.
You're not doing that. Tease would say himself, nah, I'm not, he'll tell you, I'm a civilian, he'll tell you. He'll tell you, I'm a civilian. He don't want his, he don't want no parts of it. He like,
both techniques are still used today
I'm a civilian.
and inspired the team in their recreation of the mines located in the mountains.
No, the crazy
northwest
part,
of
you know what I
Memphis.
noticed though? Anybody who was street niggas like for real don't want that associated with themselves. Whoever do it for real don't want that associated with their names or nothing like that. Put a Band-Aid on it. No, tissue, nigga. I was talking about a piece of paper. Like rolling papers. Well, I roll up in papers.
Welcome to Fauna of Ancient
Get
Egypt.
it rolling paper. Get it later. Put a patch the Band-Aid. Oh shit! That's a fucking goat. Look at the fucking horns on this nigga. Bro, do you see? This must be an Asgardian goat or something. Yo. I don't know how you do it, but if you want, there's an app called Hover, and there's literally a spot that says Xbox clips, and you sign into your Xbox account, and all of your Xbox clips will be loaded right there. And I take them from there. Oh yeah, use the app, the Xbox app. It works on there too. Just go to the what's the name, and it should be right there. Bro, my shit right. I don't know. Hold on, let me go check. Let me go check mine right now. So listen, instead of doing that, yep, you could do that. Yeah, I was about to say that. You could just save the video and save it. It's gonna be on your phone then. You try, it won't let you save. It won't let you download it. Yeah, then you definitely got to go change your settings because something's wrong, bro. This should be 1, 2, 3 simple. It shouldn't be as difficult.
Both domesticated and wild animals were features in
Yeah,
ancient
I'm
Egyptian
literally
bas
looking at my
reliefs
captures right
as
now.
early as the first
That's how I got
dynasty.
the clips from earlier. Yeah.
While the variety of wildlife served as a reliable food source, it also influenced both culture and
Matter of fact, here go one
mythology.
from last night. Yeah, I can share, copy, and save. I'm gonna share the Instagram. Downloading your game clip. There you go. It gives me the options to save video, go directly to Instagram. I can go directly to TikTok. Let me go to TikTok with it. Share to TikTok. Yeah, it's in my TikTok. All I got to do is press next and it's the clip. Yeah, I don't know why it's like that for you. That's wild. That's why I don't understand why it's not working for you, because you're using your iPhone. I did all of that on my iPhone just now. You must got your privacy on in the capture shit set on Samir.
Egypt's terrain allowed for a diverse range of animals, including panthers, rhinoceroses,
everything he said you could do, I
elephants,
literally
and many
just did it.
variations of
All
antelopes.
I had to do was press next, and I was in TikTok, which means the clip was already saved and good. I had to press no extra buttons or nothing. You sure you ain't put a parental joint on your joint by accident? See, now these look like regular, what's the names? What are they called? $6,000. I'm going 6,000.
Whoa. Whoa.
The Nile
Ooh,
was
look at that
home to
gator.
many species of fish, along with hippopotami and crocodiles.
Oh, that's a hippo? Ain't hippos like mean to humans? Look at that gator in front of me. I'm trying to get the fuck on that car.
Whoa.
The wide variety of birds that populated the riverbanks, from raptors and waterfowl to songbirds, were all cataloged within Egyptian hieroglyphic signs. Encounters with reptiles and insects, such as cobras, scorpions, and scarabs, influenced hieroglyphs and art.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, boy.
While all animals had sacred meanings, lions in particular represented power and royalty to ancient Egyptians. They were so prized by pharaohs that they were hunted to extinction within Egypt.
Good. I'm just gonna sit me here next to the line like it's cool and shit. You gonna fly my bird over here like he won't eat you. What do y'all games be thinking sometimes? This is not a real life situation. This is a situation that, you know, young. I don't know what's going on in the hood. The heck was that? I'm not gonna hurt you. Did you hit it? Oh shit, that's a big ass fucking gator.
Welcome to Flora of
Log out,
Ancient
log back
Egypt.
in.
The climate and unique geography of the Nile Delta offered a wide variety of plant species. Many of these plants served as sustenance for ancient Egyptians and as crops for trade. The Nile's consistent seasons allowed Egypt to sustain itself for centuries.
What? No. Oh shit. Man, it's just came and walked right across me. You know what? Come on, man. Come on, homie.
Possibly the most useful of the plants was the papyrus. This tall sedge plant grew in abundance along the water's edge of the Nile. Commonly known for its use as paper, the ancient Egyptians found many other functions for it, including rope, sandals, and mats. Papyriform boats made from the plant are seen in paintings and reliefs, and were used in ritualistic ceremonies.
Whoa.
There were many types of trees along the River Nile, such as the date palm, carob, and tamarisk. The earliest fruit tree cultivated was the fig tree, followed by apple, pomegranate, and eventually olive trees during the era of the New Kingdom. Mango cultivation was the result of a late import from Asia during the Middle Ages.
Whoa.
Some trees were associated with gods, such as the acacia with Horus. The divinities Thoth and Seshat were depicted inscribing the reign of the king into a Persea tree. The sycamore was connected with the goddess Iset, patron of the ritual of life.
Sycamore tree.
Whoa.
Working. You see.
Welcome to Ancient Egyptian Hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphics were used as sacred writing, appearing on monuments, statues, and sacred papyrus texts. The earliest symbols that resemble hieroglyphs were on pottery dating back to 4000 BCE. This stylized form of signs and drawings was the only writing used from its ancient origins to the end of pharaonic history. Ancient Egyptians referred to hieroglyphs as the writing of the gods. Considered a difficult language, it was intended for pharaohs, nobility, and priests, and meant to be used in ceremonies, within tombs, and for government records. Since few Egyptians were able to read the ancient hieroglyphs, the mythological aura around the language was persistent, even in their own culture. The structure of hieroglyphs offers insight into Egyptian culture, not just in what the translations say, but in the structure of the symbols themselves. They were found on tomb walls, on sarcophagi, on statues, and on pottery, and were meticulously recorded in countless ancient papyri.
Word. That's alright. What's the word? Who you? Ain't got no name. Alright, that's cool. You know what? Yeah. Just wanted to see if he was alive. You know what? I'm gonna name you. I name you Sir Henry. That's you.
In many temples, priests would perform rituals
that?
and
Niggas at the
daily
barbecue?
offerings. These were accompanied by hieroglyphs
That's
used
why
as
the
spells.
barbecue going. That's why.
In tomb paintings, the hieroglyphs
Barbecue
are represented
back
with
in the days.
formulas to recite. These spoken words were meant to be spells which would allow the deceased to benefit from the offerings for all eternity. Spells and offerings were also written for the living, to enhance medicines and cure illnesses. The most famous of ancient Egyptian documents is the Book of the Dead. Written in hieroglyphs and hieratic texts, it depicts important spells and rituals. These spells were intended to ensure a smooth transition from life to death, and allow the deceased to safely navigate the perils of the afterlife. Even after it was deciphered, the reading of hieroglyphs remained difficult at times due to the many directions in which they can be read. Depending on the orientation of the signs, hieroglyphs can be read left to right, right to left, horizontally or vertically, though never bottom to top.
Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold!
A clue on which way to read is to first notice which direction the figurative signs are facing. If a pictogram is looking to the right, then the reader is meant to start from the right and read towards the figure. Column text on a papyrus begins from the right, then goes top to bottom for each column. Text written on tomb walls resembles the structure of a page from a comic book. The text can be placed in front, behind, or above the character, and its symbols look in the same direction as the character. Another clue is that the name of a god or hieroglyphs meaning gods or kings are always written before the descriptive text. Compared to alphabetical languages, Egyptian hieroglyphs have more symbols. Confronted with the absence of vowels, the Egyptians invented a category of signs. When placed at the end of words, these signs help inform its meaning. For instance, a drawing of a lion will refer to a lion
that nigga
and also relate to the abstract
Spanish real
concept
quick.
of a
Me no
lion
hablo
as
inglés.
something
No hablo
dangerous or
inglés.
powerful.
One month free, no hablo inglés. No hablo inglés.
Middle Egyptian hieroglyphs contained a little more than 700 signs. By the end of the Greco-Roman period, there were 10,000 signs. Egyptologist Sir Alan Gardner created a list classifying common hieroglyphic signs and their variants. Ancient Egyptian languages have many similarities with Asian and African languages. They have evolved in similar ways to the various forms of written Egyptian. These languages belong to the Hamito-Semitic group. There were 5 clear evolutions in the Egyptian language, each with their own distinctive structure. These languages are known as Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, Late Egyptian, Demotic, and Coptic. Coptic is the only living language that allows linguists to define the vowel structure and to distinguish different dialects. While hieroglyphs and hieratic script give us an idea as to how the ancient Egyptian language was structured and written, the way it was spoken is still up for debate. The team opted for English as the spoken language, with the characters using ancient Egyptian and Greek words and accents. The language that is spoken in the background by the crowds is largely based on Sir Alan Gardner's Egyptian grammar. To help resurrect a dead language, we consulted Egyptologists and dialogue coaches to establish our target sound and cast actors with Arabic, Hebraic, and African backgrounds to bring the game to life. After Alexander the Great's arrival in Egypt and the establishment of his reign, Greek became the language used by the governing bodies. The inability to read hieroglyphs caused resentment among the Greek population. It's from this tension that the Rosetta Stone was created. The spread of Christianity ended pharaonic culture and resulted in the destruction of its pagan monuments. This also marked the end of hieroglyphic writing and understanding. Welcome to Jean-Francois Champollion. Between the 5th century CE and the Renaissance, knowledge of hieroglyphs was entirely lost. Many enthusiasts tackled the challenge of deciphering the language with little success. Some groundwork was made with various researchers identifying names and some grammatical structure, and confirming that cartouches were markers for royal names. They were still missing a critical piece of information that would eventually be revealed thanks to the discovery of the Rosetta Stone.
The Rosetta Stone.
The Rosetta Stone was found in 1799 by Bouchard, a soldier in Napoleon's army. The stela dates from 196 BCE, written in ancient Egyptian and Greek with 3 scripts: hieroglyphics, Demotic, and Greek alphabet. Following the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1801, the English took possession of the stone. It has been at the British Museum since 1802 and remains the most visited object of the museum to date.
The Rosetta Stone.
The first translation was of the Greek section only in 1803. It detailed a decree of Pharaoh Ptolemy V, reminding the citizens that their pharaoh had led Egypt to prosperity. It was fully translated 20 years after by Jean-Francois Champollion, who was working with a facsimile. Through his studies of the stone, Champollion was able to make a critical observation that would unlock the whole mystery: that hieroglyphics were not only ideograms, but also phonograms. Hieroglyphs consist of phonetic glyphs, single characters, and logograms. Essentially, they are a combination of phonetics, alphabet, and full words, which in total form a language. While studying the stone, Champollion realized that there was a difference in the number of hieroglyphic characters in relation to the number of Greek characters for the same word. This led him to believe that hieroglyphs must have phonetic characteristics. This was the first step to unlocking the Rosetta Stone's secrets. To prove this theory, Champollion began identifying Egyptian rulers' names and then compared their phonetic pronunciation to the Greek version. For example, Cheops had been the Greek name given by ancient chroniclers to the owner of the Great Pyramid, Khufu.
Caffeine cut the budget.
The next step for Champollion was to confirm that his approach was verifiable by using the Philae obelisk as an additional reference. Engraved in the obelisk are 2 inscriptions in Egyptian hieroglyphs and Greek. Once he confirmed the names of Ptolemy and Cleopatra within these texts and confirmed the same phonetic patterns as on the Rosetta Stone, Champollion knew he was on the right track.
No, what happens is, no. This is what yeah.
Champollion had already mastered several ancient languages when he took on deciphering the Rosetta Stone. He used his knowledge of Coptic to identify the solar disk hieroglyph on the obelisk as the phonetic translation of Ra. Further translation only strengthened his conclusion. Egyptian hieroglyphs encompass the alphabet in both phonetics and determinative ways, which means that the symbol represents the word itself.
Welcome to Cyrene. Cyrenaica stretches across the coast of northwest Africa. It was known as Pentapolis in antiquity, a reference to the 5 main cities that formed the Greek colonies. Built on a lush plateau of the Green Mountains, in what is present-day Libya, a colony of Greek settlers formed the city of Cyrene in 630 BCE. Cyrene's population quickly grew, spreading out across the terraces of the plateau, making it the first and largest of the 5 colonies. The city of Cyrene was founded by Batos Aristotle, guided by the Oracle of Delphi. Overcrowded and suffering from drought, Batos's home island of Thera could not sustain its citizens. Batos consulted the Oracle, who told them to journey to the North African coast in search of arable land. A series of kings reigned over the city in the first 2 centuries. However, rebellion eventually ended the monarchy, and henceforth, the city was governed by the aristocracy. The key features of Cyrene were temples dedicated to gods, Apollo, Demeter, and Zeus, alongside Ptolemaic gods such as Isis and Serapis. A large agora defined the city's center, and on the western edge, the famed Acropolis was built. A fortification wall was added around the harbor at the end of the 2nd century CE. As the city grew, more buildings were constructed beyond the walls. Under Roman influence, Cyrene became an economic powerhouse, rising in status throughout the Mediterranean. Cyrene's school of medicine rivaled all others except for that of the Greek city Kos. Some of the great minds in ancient math, astronomy, and geography were born or established in the various schools of the city, which included an institute of philosophy founded by Aristippus, a pupil of Socrates. From 115 to 117 CE, there was a revolt in the Jewish quarter that greatly damaged the city of Cyrene. Over time, a succession of battles, poor management of its silphium crop, and earthquakes eventually took their toll on the city. It was completely abandoned in 365 CE. The nearby port of Apollonia was an ideal location, with its natural cove, sheltered by 2 islands and rocky inlets. Along with a lighthouse, the port was later equipped with quays and warehouses to accommodate the increased shipping traffic. With its success as a commercial trading port, Apollonia surpassed Cyrene to eventually become the capital of the Pentapolis. A number of earthquakes gradually shifted the city, causing many of its original structures to sink. Some of its ruins can still be seen underwater.
Welcome to the Agora and Thermal Baths. Cyrene's Agora was the public marketplace and political hub of the city. Its central courtyard was open to the sky, while market stalls and shops ran along the sides, some neatly tucked away under long-roofed colonnades. As in other Greek cities, the Agora included a central hearth, known as a prytaneum. This place served as Cyrene's official embassy where guests were welcomed to the city. An unnamed statue representing naval victories was the centerpiece of the Agora. The statue's female figure likely represents Nike, the goddess of victory. It was likely very similar to the victory of Samothrace, which currently resides in the Louvre Museum and served as a reference for the team.
They had to figure out the seeding rollout.
The Cyrene Agora also displayed many temples and monuments celebrating its founding king, Batos, and the city gods. There were 2 altars associated with the Temple of Apollo and a marble statue base dedicated to the goddess Libya.
Whatever. I don't know what you said. I speak in English only. Bye, I understand that.
The civic buildings included a law court complete with an archive library that would have housed legal documents and other papers essential to the city's governance. Traces of fire damage to the building's remains indicate that it was possibly destroyed during the rebellion of the Jewish community in 115 CE. Public baths were common in Roman and Greek cities, and Cyrene held true to this tradition. 2 thermal baths from different eras were discovered among the ruins. An inscription at the entrance of one of the baths is presumed to be attributed to the owner. It dates the building to the Hellenistic period. Mosaics were originally created for practical reasons, the need to waterproof floors. Imported by Greeks in Egypt
That's
and
battle rap for you,
Cyrenaica,
man.
the designs represented either scenes from daily life, marine fauna, or mythological figures. In addition to traditional Greek motifs, they also integrated concepts specific to Egyptian culture, such as the Nelumbo. The best examples of mosaics recovered to date, however, come from Alexandria. The Cyrene baths were fitted into an underground tomb dated somewhere between the 8th and 6th century BCE. Bath seats were carved directly in the rock, allowing for more comfortable ablutions. As with many of the public buildings, the thermal baths were elaborately decorated. Statues such as Aphrodite and Eros the Archer were discovered within. The Frigidarium, a pool of cold water, was the first room visitors entered. It was followed by the Tepidarium, or tepid water area, and then the hot water room called the Caldarium. Water for the thermal baths was sourced from a natural spring. Burning stones were deposited into the water to create steam as required. The flowing water of the spring ended in a cistern and fountain referred to as the Aqua Augusta.
Aqua Augusta.
Later Roman baths were built under Emperor Trajan and then restored under Hadrian. After the earthquake of 365 CE, they were replaced by baths of Byzantine design, with stones from the old thermal baths used in the reconstruction. The team relied on documentation describing the baths built under Trajan in order to create the location available in the game. Welcome to the Temple of Zeus in Cyrene. Facing east towards the rising sun stands the temple dedicated to the cult of Zeus. It was built sometime in the 5th century BCE. 70 meters long with 46 Doric-style columns, the imposing structure was the largest Greek temple erected in Africa. It was only slightly larger than the Parthenon and the Temple of Zeus in Olympia. The exterior was designed with the decorative elements common to Doric architecture. The dimensions of the columns were different, giving visitors an impression of uniqueness when viewing each facade. After the temple was destroyed during the Jewish rebellion, Emperor Hadrian had it reconstructed. He chose not to rebuild the outer portico, but did restore the new Corinthian columns in marble. The temple was later completed under Marcus Aurelius. In the time of Augustus, a faithful but smaller imitation of the Olympian Zeus was used to be worshipped. Hadrian then installed a new 12-meter-high statue matching the Zeus in Olympia. It was made of chiseled marble with the head, arms, and feet carved in the round. Archaeologists confirmed that there was a monumental statue of Zeus in this temple, though experts remain divided on whether it was one of Zeus or one more specific to the cult of Zeus Ammon. The team elected to place a statue of Zeus Ammon in this location, knowing that Cyrene was central to the spread of this cult in the Greek Mediterranean area.
Welcome to Important Monuments of Cyrene. The sanctuary of Apollo sits on a prominent edge of the plateau of Cyrene, overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. It could be accessed either by the road from Apollonia, via the necropolis, or by the Sacred Way, coming from the agora of the city. The abundance of temples and statues throughout the city reflect the various Greco-Roman and Egyptian cult influences over the centuries. Temples dedicated to Apollo, Cyrene, and Zeus stood alongside those of Ptolemaic gods, such as Serapis and Isis. Numerous fountains were decorated to represent other gods, including the city's namesake, Cyrene.
So that's how Cyrene got his name.
A vestibule known as a propylaeum marked its entrance and highlighted the fountain of Apollo. God of the sun and of protection, Apollo was an important deity to both Greeks and Romans. The sanctuary built in his honor was considered to be sacred.
Drinking this good old H2O. It was in my cold flask. Yes, sir.
The imposing temple was built on a natural cornice, stretching more than 200 meters in length and roughly 50 meters in width, and was surrounded by a vast Doric colonnade. Sections uncovered by archaeologists indicate restorations to the columns were made between. The altar was located in front of the temple. Both are estimated to be the same age, though restored at different times. Many bulls were sacrificed each year at the altar in honor of Apollo. The imprint in the stone of the ring used to strap the animals down is visible to this day.
That's cheap. Why are you bringing the bows?
Carved during the Roman era, the Apollo Cythereid was discovered near the temple. It is considered an important archaeological find. The statue of Apollo was in pieces when it was uncovered. Remarkably, most fragments were found, and the restored statue is currently at the British Museum. The team extrapolated the statue's final look based on the current partial reconstruction, and placed it inside the temple to reflect the patron deity of the area. The amphitheater of Cyrene is located on what is known as the Terrace of Myrtosa, next to the sanctuary of Apollo. It was built on top of the old theater in the 2nd century. Originally used as a stage, the theater became an amphitheater once the taste for Roman gladiatorial entertainment reached the city. Entrances were placed at both ends of the amphitheater. A wall replaced the first 2 rows of bleachers as protection from the array of wild animals in the ring. The tunnel used for the parade of beasts and gladiators circled the arena, unlike the Roman Colosseum's tunnel, which was beneath the amphitheater. The basement and corridors accommodated both the gladiators and the animals, and included lifts that raised the traps into the arena's center.
Yeah. They had it in the Game Pass for like a good week. Mm-hmm. Yep, for the trial, yep. I played it during the trial.
Since the original theater was close to the cliffside, the expansion didn't allow for a perfect circle. Instead, junctions of the semicircle formed the arena into an oval shape. This elliptical formation still ensured an excellent view from all angles. The team decided to create a perfectly round theater for technical reasons and used the structure of the Roman theater as their reference. Welcome to the Acropolis of Cyrene. Located on the western edge of the city, Cyrene's Acropolis was smaller than the one in Athens, though its high vantage point provided protection for the city. At its entrance was a single door, flanked by 2 towers. An inscription, legible to this day, states that the walls and the citadel were restored in the time of Augustus. A number of statuettes have been excavated from the site, including one of Berenice, the daughter of Magus, the king of Cyrene, and half-brother of Ptolemy II. At the northeast tower, there is a sanctuary consisting of 2 small temples with a vestibule, and an altar believed to be that of Serapis and Isis. When the temples were excavated, archaeologists found traces of fire damage. However, there are no indications as to when this fire occurred.
Out of my way.
In the 20th century, a fortification was built above the ward to defend against an invading army. It covered the ancient remains of nearby Roman houses entirely, and archaeologists have yet to fully excavate them.
We might be restarting this shit. You might not like how it's streamed. Look at.
Ιδίως ο μάση του τότε είδον. Ανές. Του καλώς έχω.
Welcome to the Gladiator Arena. While gladiators would not perform in Cyrene until later in the Roman era, the team decided to include a gladiatorial arena for 2 reasons. First, they believed it was important to portray this aspect of Roman life. And second, they felt it would add interesting gameplay possibilities. The first gladiators to enter the arena were prisoners of war. It was a spectacle of violent clashes between men and against wild beasts that lasted nearly 1,000 years.
1,000 years is crazy. That'd be wild. You might as well just forget about it.
Eventually, volunteers began to enter the ring. For status and money, many of the more skilled combatants increased the quality of the entertainment. Thus, the profession of gladiator came to be. Bound by contract to the master of the gladiators, the fighters were fed, trained, and guarded in barracks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I told Vlad, guess what I'm gonna do after I'm done, Vlad? Guess what I'm gonna do when I'm done,
Gladiators were
Vlad? Niggas gonna
separated
play their
into heavy
game, nigga.
and light armored fighters, each with their own set of specific armor and weapons. Organizers often had two audience-favored factions face each other in combat.
Nah, I'm getting money by getting money. Yes, sir. Call out the double down. Yes, sir. Yeah, I 30 Vlad at the end.
The
too.
events were
30
highly
Vlad at the end.
organized. Fights were held with a background of music and supervised by a referee. Death, either in the course of combat or by decision, was not always the only way out for the loser. Several were released due to their performance and gained great notoriety as celebrities.
Last chapter. Forest Station.
Welcome to Major Exports of Cyrene. Cyrene's main source of economic wealth was in the cultivation and export of poppies and silphium. Though the opium oil from the poppies was also an export, little is known about this crop. Information about the cultivation of silphium, however, is more accessible to us.
Basically, I don't know shit about that first part.
Whoa.
Silphium, with its yellow flower, was considered a gift from the sun god. Grown solely in this region near the Mediterranean Sea, silphium extract was exported at high prices and was so crucial to the wealth of Cyrenaica that it was depicted on their coins.
Whoa.
Let me flip the coins up for flowers.
Silphium's roots produced a resin used by both the Greeks and Romans in medicines intended to cure cough, fever, indigestion, and many other ailments. It was also used as a contraceptive. In a compilation of culinary recipes from the 4th century BCE, the herb is mentioned in various recipes, including a flamingo dish.
Niggas eat flamingo?
High
That's
demand,
great.
overexploitation, and possibly a shift in climate all contributed to the eventual extinction of silphium. The last mention of it dates from the 4th century CE, And to this day, no traces of this plant have been identified.
Toxode! Toxode! O anthropos αυτός
That's the
απήγαγε
first time
τον
I've ever
υπόλοιπο
heard of
ακούντα!